Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. My name is Don Smith, that's Don with 2 N's, and I'm here to share with you what I've developed over 44 years that I call Iamdivinity. I say that Iamdivinity because I'm divine and so are you. No matter what you've done and what you haven't done, you are divine, you always were and you always will be. And it gets all covered up. And so all of those trips to the personal developments and all of those things, and they don't hold, and did you ever question yourself? Instead of just going back and getting the next one and the next one and the next one and none of them hold? Well, there's a reason for that. A very big reason is because you're working at a belief level of who you think you are. That's what beliefs are, both negative and positive. They're who we think we are. So going from a negative belief to a positive belief is not the answer whatsoever. It's about the knowing of who we truly are. There's knowing. It isn't a belief. And so all of these ideas of doing this and all of those trips to the wherevers, it's like dealing with a piece of something. But this is not a piece of anything. This is the total knowing of who you are. And what I've developed over this 44 years is a process that's instant and it's permanent. Now, the permanent comes in by you doing something for holding it. But I'm telling you, there's people who have this for years and it's instant. And how do I say that with such boldness? Well, put it in the category of a phobia. 90% of the population has a phobia of something. Bugs, snakes, rats, heights, water, whatever. And my question to you is, how long did it take for you to create that phobia? Yes, you're right. 1 instant. And yet everybody questions me about that. And yet that's all it took. 1 instant. So now what I did was I reverse engineered near-death experiences and phobias to find out how they worked, and I reverse engineered it. So if you can create a phobia in a second, and most times it's before the age of reason, which is 4, 5, 6. Think about that. At that young of an age, that in 1 second you created a lifetime phobia. Well, it's a lifetime phobia because you're holding on to it for protection. That's how the ego works. It's going to get you to hold on to something that's harmful for you so it can keep you aware in case it happens again. That's how toxic your ego is. And it's not your ego, it's the ego. Sorry, my mistake. Because you are much more than an ego. And so what it's about is if you create it in a second, why would it take any longer than a second to reverse it if you knew how you did it? That's what I do. That's one of the pieces. And then the other is the permanentness of it all. Well, I'm going to ask you a question. What color are your eyes? What color are those eyes of yours? Now you tell me how long you had that color. Yeah, your whole life. That's permanent. Would you agree? But look at the permanentness of a phobia. You had it from age 4 to 84. That's 80 years. You'd think that was permanent. But it was created in a second, and you can reverse it in a second. So it's not. That's what I'm saying. So that's what we're talking about. Something that's instant, something that's permanent, and it's about who you truly are. Your divinity, you're divine. Don't ever forget it. Always remember it. And all of these other things are happening because you have an attachment to the personal development system of beliefs and changing a belief from a negative to a positive. It's not going to hold. It will not hold. Yes, there will be improvements. Congratulations on doing that. That's searching. I'm talking about a shift from this to a shift from this. Who we're not to who we are. And then doing a simple exercise. Takes 5 minutes, 3 times a day to hold it. And there you have it. That's it. That's who you are. That's why it's like the color of your eyes. The color of your eyes has been that way all this time, and you still have that color. Well, it's the same. Who you truly are is permanent. Who your beliefs are not, because it's not true. No matter how much you believe, the negative or the positive about those beliefs, they're false. And so, I'm here to share with you to go on a journey under 2 hours. Now I'm talking about, like I've worked with 15 different pro athletes or Olympians, okay? That's just in sports. And then mega billionaires, millionaires, and health, cancer. You know, one guy, yeah, I met him in the garbage room in Vancouver. I opened up the door and there he is. And he's so gray and he's humped over and he's like, you think he was going to die any second. I said, holy shit, man, you don't look too good. What's going on? He said, oh, I got prostate cancer. I've had it for 16 months. I've had 32 radiation treatments. And I don't know how much time I have. I said, don't listen to that bullshit. Can I ask you a few questions? Within that 15 minutes, I had asked him all these questions. And all I knew about him was his name was Al. 3 weeks later, I get a call from him. This same guy. He said, hi, Don, this is Al Valjanic. I met you in the garbage room 3 weeks ago. Yeah? Well, I don't have any cancer. Now, I could fill this room with those stories. Fill this room with those stories. And you can access this magnificent, powerful, divine energy called Iamdivinity. And what's natural about it, it matches who you truly are. That's the key. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting that you will know who you are and it will override and supersede who you think you are? Now, if you're tied up with that persona that you've developed, in a second, I might add, and kept it all this time, like I just worked with a guy that when he was 9, his mom died, and he decided to harden his heart. And he hardened his heart for the next 40 years. And that's what all his issues were about. We went back, cleaned that up, boom, it's gone. All the symptoms were all gone. That's how easy it is, and that's how simple this is. So if you want to continue with your hard work and all of those kind of things, and going back and paying for this again, that again, and this again, and the counseling and the therapy and coaching and all of that, go ahead, by all means. But if you want to be free to be you, free to be who you truly are, and those eyes, every time you look in the mirror, it will remind you how magnificent you are. And that's how this process is about, whether it's in an individual or whether it's in group. And I welcome you to join us in this journey of raising humanity's consciousness from its existing 210 to 700. That's right, you heard it right. 210 to 700. So it's an awesome journey. We're looking for 100 that are willing to go to 700 to raise humanity's consciousness. So I welcome you, and I'll see you on our journey. Good evening, good afternoon. Dawn. I am divinity. I am divine. And so are you. How amazing is that, to know that? All of these programs, all of these personal developments and going for this piece and going for that piece is all a trick of the ego. All a trick of the ego mind. That's what that is. Keeping you busy building who you think you are. And that's as far from the truth as the sun is from the moon. That's it. Because we already are who we are. That's the difference. Personal development is trying to get you to be something. To get this and not good enough to good enough and not loved to loved and not la la la. That's the craziness of it. And that's the hook of the ego. It truly is. Keeping you busy, trying to be something that you already are. Exactly. Exactly. Okay? I'm an avatar, so are you. Now, you might have to come back 20 lifetimes to experience it, but it's already there. It is already in place. It is. Yeah, that's who we are. So we're not our beliefs. We're not our negative beliefs or positive. We're not trying to change negative beliefs to positive beliefs. Not doing that. Not doing any of that. Not good enoughs to good enoughs. Not loved to loved. That's an externally referenced system. It's externally referenced, and it's flawed. It's like trying to get a drink of water with a strainer. When was the last time you went into the kitchen, found a strainer, and put it under the water tap to get a drink? When was the last time you did that? I'm betting never, and I want to know why. Why did you not do that? Okay? Because intuitively, you knew it was a flawed system and it wouldn't work. Well, I'm telling you, taking a personal development program to be good enough, to let go of not good enough, to be loved and let go of not loved and not feeling safe. La, 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 la. Okay? That's a flawed system. And it's because you do not know who you already are. That's it. Okay? And guess when that happened? Do you have any idea? Let's start with something that you have. What color are your eyes? What color are they? Mine's blue. I don't know about yours. Mine's blue. Okay? Do you know how long they've been blue? From conception. That's how long they've been blue. Did you get that? I didn't have to add to them. Now, some of you might shift colors along the way. That's a different thing altogether. I'm just talking about my eyes being blue, and as far as I know, they've always been blue. I didn't have to go anywhere, didn't get an operation, nothing. Nothing. People comment on my blue eyes all the time. And that just reminds me, oh yes, my eyes are blue. It's like, okay, so how does this work? How does this work? What if your divinity is identical in the way it's done, that's your divinity? The color of your eyes matches your divinity. Not exciting. Okay? And so you don't have to go anywhere. You do not have to go anywhere for this other than inside. Oh, wow. You mean to say when my dad, strapped me that day and I thought I was a loser and not good enough and not worthy, and or my mom screamed and yelled because I didn't wash the dishes right, or whatever, or the teachers in school or the priests or the nuns or the masters telling you have to do this and you have to do that. No, that's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Every bit of it. What this is removing the beliefs. Beliefs, because beliefs are man-made. Beliefs are man-made. Every one of them. They were created from an experience that you had. You had. Now, whether it was somebody told you about that, but you had, whether it was by someone telling you that or you experiencing that, that's you. And then you believed it. So if somebody said, no, your eyes are green, Don, I'd just say, no. No. Okay? So these negative beliefs, and people have a ton of them. Not good enough, not worthy, not deserving, not loved. I'm a failure. Yeah, the list goes on and on. We've had these experiences. And most of them are traumas that were created in the womb before any other thing happened. So here's an example. Okay? So mom had 10 children. 6 girls, 4 boys. Okay? The very first one, her name was Rita Mary. Her name was a girl. Okay? And when she was 4 months of age, 4 months, okay, mom got up, and here she was stillborn. I mean, she died overnight. Okay, whatever that would be, whatever that's called. Okay, there she was, gone. You know the shock that mom experienced, and of course, dad experienced it too, but certainly mom. She was the one that found Rita Mary dead in her sleep. Okay? Now imagine that shock that mom had. Okay? And then guess what? Mom had 9 more children. And guess what? I'll say that again. We're saying that mom expected at the 3 to 4 months, I think it was 4 months after birth, that little Rita Mary died. Guess at that time, mom expecting the same thing to happen again. Okay? Got that? So every single time that the training wheels came around to that cycle of time of 4 months after birth, this baby's going to die. Ivan, then Phyllis, then Janet, then Carol, then me, then David, and then Brenda, Arlene, and Jamie. Yeah, expecting every one of them to die. That post-traumatic stress conditioned response to something specific. And every single one of us had that to one degree or another. Not amazing how that happens, isn't it? And now we're all in this post-traumatic stress. And on top of that, Dad was in the Second World War. He was on a Navy ship, the HMCS St. Thomas. He was gone back and forth for 5 years. And he was in the war and the Navy, and they sunk a German sub, Russian sub, I believe it was, yes. And they didn't know they could do it, but they did it. And so, and there's pictures, and Dad even said it. They brought these Russians on board the ship, and the Russians actually told them that they were ordered to shoot on sight any survivors. And Dad was expecting the same. Like, it was like, so all of this war stuff, and Mom expecting the news all the time. And yeah, it's like, oh my God, the trauma, the post-traumatic stress in our family. And on top of that, there was 8 communities in our church school. 8 communities. We were the second poorest. Our family was the second poorest out of all 8 communities. Yeah. So here there is, all of that. We're the low end of the totem pole, no money, Dad an alcoholic, come home and he'd have the little bit of money he made, he drank half of it. Mom trying to find ways to bake, or, you know, make something, bake clothes, or pass down from uncles and aunts from the States and whatever, all of that kind of stuff. And that scarcity and the lack, and you know, when we went to school, everybody was laughing at us, and we were the low end of the totem pole in church and everything. Yeah, all of that shame. We carried that as if it was our own. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the building of the ego energy, the building of the not good enough energy, the building of the not loved energy, the building of not safe energy. La, 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 la. And none of it's true. None of it's who we are. I'll tell you who we are. Tell you who we are. We're that you. We're that you that was born, that seed. That seed. Ah, that's when it started. And you just started to, just like any kind, like a bird or a seed or whatever, it just flourishes. Yeah, that's who we are. That's like the color of our eyes. Imagine that. We already are that. So no, we don't have to take a personal development program to find out we're good enough, or that we're worthy, or that we're loved. None of that. It's all a hoax. It's all a hoax. And let's come back. How much time, effort, and energy have you put in to keeping your eyes the color that they are? What's your answer? Do you have an answer? I have my answer. They always were. They are. And always will be. Exactly. That's who I am. My eyes represent who I am. That's it. So I didn't need to, I didn't need to take a program. Any of that. It's like, oh, wow. You mean, Dawn, are you trying to tell me that who I truly am, I always was, and I always will be? Exactly what I'm saying. That's why personal development is it's just a get-rich scam by the those that all these programs, and they do have experiences. They do have experiences of people like just, oh wow, I'm just so amazed. But how long does it last? A day, an hour, a week? Walking out of the hotel that you were in to hear this great talk by somebody for you to feel alive? Yeah. No. Not at all. That's not it. And that's why you can't hold it. So now let's talk about Iamdivinity. Let's talk about that. How we can find that. How we can access that. How we can recognize that. And how little effort it is. Little effort. Like I'm asking you, how much effort does it take, in my case, keep my eyes blue? What's the answer? Tell me. I'm telling you, 0 effort. The only thing is remembering. That's all. That you already are. And so, negative beliefs and positive beliefs are who we think we are. Our knowing is who we truly are. That's it. And who we truly are is who we always were. Who we always were, we always will be. That's us. Okay? So, what do you take? Like what program do you take? What program do you take for that to happen? You can have that program right now as you're listening to me. This second. That's it. Transforming into who you truly are. Well, you're not even transforming into it. You're becoming aware that you're already in it. So it's that language. You know, one of my sisters, and I mentioned this the other day, one of my sisters last week called me. And she's been in personal development since 1993, because that's when I had been working in addictions and working in corrections. You know, and by the way, I was incredibly successful in those systems. You know why? No judgment. No judgment. I work with serial rapists, armed robbers, murderers. Successful with them all. Alcoholics and drug addicts that would come into the treatment center. And then they'd be out the next day. But not with me. I remember this big, massive native. And the cops, you know, he was blood all over. The cops had thrown him down the stairs into the detox that I was in charge of. And I just set him on the bed and got him something to eat and a little bit to drink, and cleaned off the blood that was on his face and everything from the fight with the cops. All of a sudden, he starts crying. Tears running down this native's face. Forever, my whole life been treated like this. That's who you are. You're divine. No matter what you did, doesn't matter what you didn't do, doesn't matter who you hurt, doesn't matter who you didn't hurt. That all came from you not knowing who you are. And no one in the treatment center could believe the transformation he had just by being that experience with me in the detox. Wasn't even in the actual treatment center. In the upstairs. Those serial rapists, armed robbers, murderers, the same thing. Most of them never repeated. Just from me holding the vibration of who they were. Isn't that amazing? And that was well before I truly knew what I now know. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. And so, you know, we hard on ourselves, and then we have all of these programs in place, all of these ways to measure who we are, such as how much money we have. Oh, you're a billionaire. Oh, yes, I work with billionaires. I work with multi-billionaires. I work with many millionaires. Yes, I saved one billionaire $600 million. in 6 minutes. How crazy is that? An example of health. I was in my condo in Vancouver. And they had a strong recycling program. It was on Cypress Mountain. And I took the recycling down to the garbage room, and it was as spotless as a delivery room. And you know, cans here, paper here, bottles here, la la la. About to walk out, and on the other side, guy walking in was as gray as this mic holder here. I said, holy shit, man, you don't look too good. What's going on? Oh, said, I got prostate cancer. I've had it for 16 months. They gave me 32 radiation treatments. They burnt all my stomach, wall, intestines. That's called radiation poisoning, by the way. And he said, I don't know how much time I have to live. I said, don't listen to that bullshit. Can I ask you a few questions? Yeah, okay. So from the moment we started, the moment I stopped and walked out, it was 15 minutes in total. 15 minutes. All I knew was his name was Al. That's all I knew. Okay. 3 weeks later, I get a phone call. Don, this is Al Valjanic. I met you in the garbage room 3 weeks ago. Yeah, Al. Yeah, I remember you, bud. That I just had x-rays. I don't have any cancer. How is that possible, you guys? How is that possible? And that was with him having all that radiation poisoning. Yeah. So that's how powerful we are as a being. And that powerfulness comes from us awakening to who we truly are. Yeah. We are immensely powerful. We are. There's, you know, like I had a ton of near-death. I think it was, I can't remember 16 or 18 near-death experiences. Yeah. And something saved me. All of them. Electrocutions and accidents and cuts and, yeah, like bears and, yeah. Yeah. Just crazy. Crazy. In storms that they thought, like, what are you doing out here in that boat in this storm? You know, the Coast Guard. So, like, you know, just, I could go on and on and on. And what I'm talking about is, okay, I didn't know what I know today. And I was searching. I was searching in relationships. I was searching. I was really good at sports. I was really good at sports. Yeah, big time. Baseball, hockey. Yeah. And, you know, it was like, and now what's happening is I'm doing this. Now there's these labels coming on me. Oh, I'm a hockey player. Oh, I'm a baseball player. Oh, okay. I'm a singer. I'm a dancer. And they're all identities, all these labels, all these labels. And how many labels do you have of who you are? You know, and it just goes on and on. And I'm talking about, okay, so the idea is who you're not, who we are. I'm telling you, who you are is closer than the color of your eyes. You are divine. You are absolutely divine. That's you. You always were. You always will be. No matter what you've done, what you didn't do. Okay? It's got nothing to do with it. It's got nothing to do with it. Those are labels that either you or humanity has put on you. Those are labels. You're a criminal. you're a dancer, you're a singer, you're a baseball player, like I said, or basketball or whatever. All those images. Look at the images. The superstars of like Jamie and Nina went to see what's her name? The famous Canadian singer. You all know who that is. I just can't remember it right at the moment. And they went to see her, and the place was absolutely alive. Absolutely alive. She goes with Travis Kelce. I know the football player more than the singer, and everybody like coming in thousands upon thousands upon thousands to see this image, to see this image, to listen to this image. And I've worked with many of them. I've worked with the top, what do you call them in Canada? The band. Yeah, top band in Canada. I work with them. Yeah. So like I said, I work with the billionaires. I work with the very famous people. And I'm telling you, that's a tough sled. And you know why? Because they're labeled. They have that label on them. And it's put on them by millions of people. They're the sharpest, they're the best, they're the richest, they're the poorest, they're the worst criminal, they're the whatevers. Yeah, those are the labels. Not amazing? We go anywhere to see somebody that's famous. Yet we're as famous because it's who we are. And what they have is not who we are. Not at all. And so, the thing about those pieces, it's like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. Like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. That's what you're doing when you have, I'm good enough and not good enough. I'm worthy and I'm not worthy. I'm loved and I'm not loved. I'm bad, I'm good. I'm evil, I'm not. I am godly. No, all of those. And it's like, I'm going to take these pieces of this puzzle, because I used to make a puzzle. I love putting puzzles together. When I was, teenager, I used to go pick up my girlfriend, and her mother always put puzzles together. So I would sit there at the kitchen table at 7 or 8 in the evening, Saturday evening, putting a puzzle together with her mom before we went to the country dance. And putting these pieces one at a time in place. So I'd get all the red roof over here and the green car over here and put them all together and then start putting the pieces in. That's what everybody's doing. That's what everybody's doing with who they think they are. Imagine that. So you look at the cover of the box. That's what I do. Had the cover of the box sitting there all the time. And that's how, okay, that green, that's that top corner up in the right. Okay, there's red over here, that's that bottom left. And I just kept putting pieces together. And that's personal development. That's personal development. And there's many names to that kind of system. Many. And I took many of them. Like neuro-linguistic programming and brain-based learning and couple therapy and like on and on and on and on. That was all building those skills. Building those skills. Yeah. And, I'm coming up to 45 years in Alcoholics Anonymous. My sponsor died. The sponsor that I had died 2 days ago. Yeah. That two of them actually, that did everything they could to keep me straight, and I never relapsed. It'll be 45 years, December 31st. And it'll be 50 years, December 31st, that I quit smoking. Never did either one after I decided to quit. That doesn't mean that I didn't find it very difficult, because I was using the traditional model. Not good enough, the good enough. And when I would go into not good enough, I'd just rip me apart, just, you stupid bastard, you know. Like, yeah, how many times you have to learn this damn lesson? Or whatever that was. Just I could see taking daggers and stabbing myself over and over. That's how much self-hate I had. That's how much all of that I had. Had nothing to do with that beautiful divine light that I was. That I was. And so, yes, I did them all. You know, I mentioned the last podcast where I went, now, strict Irish Catholic, okay? And I went to Mass every day for a year, okay, every day. I went to communion every day for that year, and I went to confession once a week for that year. It's not amazing. Nothing changed. I still felt this self-hatred. I still felt this, toxic energy. None of that shifted. None of it. None of it. That's the whole family praying the rosary. You know? Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us. Like, yeah. And you were punished if you weren't there for the rosary at 7 o'clock that night. That kind of thing. Yeah. And the violence in our home, the absolute violence. Like my oldest brother coming into the house, brass knuckles to fight my dad. Yeah. Or me running ahead of my dad in the car as he was chasing my sister Carol to run over her. And we were so-called religious. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? What's amazing is we all survived. Well, yeah. I mean, some have now since died. But yeah, we all survived that area, end of the spectrum, that area, time-wise. And so, where did that all come from? Came from the horrendous, toxic training of the Catholicism, of the nuns and the priests. Like, it was just, you were a piece of shit. And we were the worst. We were the lowest, like I said earlier, we were the lowest common denominator in that 8 communities. That was the Smiths. The ones that have no money. The ones that have no clothes. The ones that have whatever. Yeah, that's them. All that guilt and the shame. And that's what that, not good enough. And then you spend all of this time, like I did, going to church and going to confession and going to communion to overcome the shame that I had, that was passed down to me over and over. None of it's true. Now, how long does this take? How long does this actually take? I'm going to tell you how long it takes. I'm going to tell you a few stories first. Okay? I'm going to tell you a few stories. I was just talking to someone this morning. Okay? And we're just talking about some of the, actually, it was one of my sisters. And I was talking to her about how quickly some of these things happened. And so, for example, there was one that had 58 years of asthma. 58 years of asthma. Okay? Do you know how long it took for me to assist her in overcoming her asthma? 1 second. 1 second. Another one, 38 years, post-traumatic stress disorder. Do you know how long it took for her to get rid of that? 2 seconds. How crazy is that? How is that possible? How is that possible, you guys? How is that? You go to these hospitals and you're in there forever, and they go to treatment centers and they're there for a year. Okay? Tim, 5 addictions: alcohol, drugs, food, gambling, and sex. Boom! Gone in an hour. And I played golf with him 15 months later. Still no trace of any addictions. How is that possible? I'll tell you how it's possible. Because I know who you are. You don't. I do. And who you truly are is divine. Isn't that exciting? To know that you are godly. You are an avatar. Yes, the brain has got you all tied in knots, the ego, and the mind is trying to get you up to the higher levels of consciousness so you can be aware of who you truly are. Yeah, that's the game. And that's exciting. And that's possible. That's literally possible. Okay? And so, because they're all pieces, they're all the pieces of the puzzle, I'm working on the cover of the puzzle. So, here's who you truly are. Would you like to be who you truly are? And most people, would say yes. And then in seconds, I'm able to get people to recall a moment in their life where they felt divine. So I ask you right now, can you recall your most amazing, powerful moment ever? Ever. What age, doesn't matter. But this divine, pure light. No judgment. Don't try to question it. Do you remember? That's you. Now, you're meant to be there 24/7, 365. That's you. No matter what anybody else says, no matter what you think about what has happened in your life, that's you. And you, it's capable of living there 24/7. Isn't that exciting? That's what we do here. Clean up all of the beliefs. I don't care if they're from here to Russia and over to Iceland wide. Don't care. Don't give a damn. I'm talking about you being your divine light. And that's who you are. Wow. And all I'm doing is in a heartbeat, showing you the cover on of the picture on the cover of the puzzle box. That's who you are. You're not all those pieces. I'm not putting those together. Don't even effing ask me to put those pieces together. It's a waste of time. There's the picture right there. That's you. You just tell me if you'd like to be there. And you will find it in your most enlightened experience. That's you. That's you with your blue eyes. Isn't that exciting? And there you have it. That's why all of these symptoms, as crazy as they are, as crazy as they sound, and whether they're athletes doing something bizarrely crazy that they never did before, or whether, there's one lady, she was spent more time in the hospital in the last year than out of the hospital. Okay? Various issues, all based on belief systems, most of them created by her mother and father, thinking of who she thought she was. Okay? And somebody convinced me to work with her. And I don't work with everyone. Okay? I just don't. They have to be like all of that. Anyway, I finally, okay. Okay, I'll do this one. So she literally came, answer all the questions, because the questionnaire pulls out from you how you see you. And all I do is I look at oh yeah, there it is. There's the pattern right there. Boom. And that's how it is. And so we spent 2 hours and 20 minutes. 2 hours and 20 minutes. And, she had to come down stairs. And she was so frail. She was as thin as that broom handle. And she came down the stairs, and I said, God, this better work, because I don't know how she's going to get back upstairs. Anyway, I said, yeah, how you doing? What are you noticing? Oh my God, it's gone. Now, she had spent more time in the hospital than out in the last year. Okay, so 365, divide that by 2, and she spent more time in the hospital than out, with all these various symptoms. You got that? You got that added? Okay? You still looking at the eyes thing? Okay? And then I said to her, so, what you notice? She said, oh my God, it's gone. I said, what's gone, Vanessa? I had a bulge the size of my 2 fists on my stomach wall when I walked down these stairs 2.5 hours ago. And she went like this. It's gone. How crazy is that? And in the next year, now keeping in mind, in the last year, she was in the hospital more times than she was out in the last year. Okay, clear? The next year, from the day I worked with her, she went to the hospital once for a checkup. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes in total. In total. 10 o'clock to 20 after 11 or 12, whatever that was. Different timeline. Okay? Isn't that crazy? Okay? So that's what can happen, because all of those symptoms, no matter what the doctors tell you, were created by you. They were all created by you and exasperated by the medical system, whether it's the hospital or the drugs or the whatevers. Yes. And they make more and more and more and more money, coming out with more and more and more and more and more drugs. And you're falling for it. 2 people last week, 2 people that took my program 4 years ago, died 2 days apart from cancer in their early 40s. Because both of them stopped doing what I did with them instead of holding it. Okay? That pisses me off. And we can be this light. And I'm challenging you to be in your light. That's what you came here for, to be in your light. That's right. Yes, you can be a belly dancer or a football player. You can be all that. But you are pure light. You always were, and you always will be, as long as you're on this plane. So I challenge you. I challenge you to be in this I am divinity. Okay? And this is really such a high vibration. It really is. I can't. Any encouragement is not to make a bunch of money off you. It's to see you be this divine, radiant being that you truly are. That's what I'm saying to you. So effing sign up. Put the doubt aside. And, find out who you truly are. That's it. And all of your issues, no matter what they are, whether they're with your wife or your kids or your grandfathers, uncles, brothers, nephew, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're here to find out who you are. And 98% of the population don't know that. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? How many people don't know who they are? And I'm telling you, I am divine. You are divine. And I don't effing care what you did or didn't do along the way. Do you hear me? And that's the difference between personal development and religion and all of those programs. All of those programs. They're all created to keep you stuck. To make money off you. To do all of the things that are the opposite of what you're meant to be doing. You're meant to be remembering the color of your eyes, metaphorically. That's me. Yeah. Blue eyes. Done. Okay? How long have they been blue? Forever. How much longer? Another forever. That's right. Isn't that amazing? Okay? And so your anger and your rage and your bitterness and your not good enoughs and all of those are all a scam. All a scam. And everybody's making a ton of money off it. Everybody's making a ton of money off it all. Yes, off you. All you need to do is wake up to being who you truly are. Okay? And I love each one of you dearly. I really do. That's true. And I want you to love you the same way as I love you. Deeply. Deeply, deeply, deeply. Yeah. And you can start. Would you like a starting point? Would you like a starting point? I already mentioned it, but would you like a starting point? Okay? Well, here it is. You ready? Everybody ready for this? Your starting point is the most powerful, amazing experience you ever had without any kind of drugs. No drugs. No alcohol. No drugs. No chemicals. No nothing. Like holding, if any of you have a child, a baby, and you held that baby in your arms for the first time. Try that one on for size. Remember what that was like. That's just an example. That was just an example. So for me, I was invited by Dr. Stephen Greer to spend a week with the extraterrestrials. That's when I thought I had it going on. But when that happened, I tell you, it was quite a shift, to say the least. Matter of fact, the first day we spent together, and we went out that night, and Dr. Greer had all this technology stuff to bring them in and everything, and everybody's, oh, look at that spaceship, oh, look at this, and I'm thinking, this is nothing but a bunch of bullshit. That's I don't see anything. And so I'm a very honest person. I don't hide myself. And anyway, so the next morning, I was walking way back to this kind of high forest mountain. I was walking back, and my God, I was met by 6 extraterrestrials. Said, Don, we know who you are, and we want what you have. I spent 3 times a day for the rest of that week with them. That's what shook me out of what's possible, into what's possible. Yeah, and I have never doubted anything since. So let's get on board here. Let's get into this I am divinity. Let's find out who you really and truly are, and that you can live in this state of amazingness. Okay? And do not let the ego question you, because I can prove everything that I'm saying to be true. Don't let that ego mess you around. You just go back to that most powerful moment. That's you. And you damn well look in the mirror when you see it. That's you. That's what you're here to remember, and that's what you're here to live in. Got it? So super congrats. Glad you're on the call. Really am. Really pleased that you're on the call. We're going to do more of this. We are absolutely going to do more of this, because everybody on the planet needs to fucking know who they are. Like there's a lady here that has a little baby starting. And I heard her heartbeat the other day. 7 weeks. Boom, 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 boom. What is that? It's divinity at a young age. Okay? So get busy. Get with your decision. I'm in. That's what you need to, I'm in. That's all, but nothing else. No more questions. No more, how's it going to work? Will it work for me? Bullshit. It's all ego. I'm in. How do I sign up? I sign up and get it done. You being who you are, like that little being in that lady's belly right now. Clear? Goodbye.